is not a serial killer. If you look at his track record, go to Communities United Against Police Brutality, it reads longer than your laundry list. And Mayor Fry ensured that he still had a job. Justice is holding those people accountable before our black brothers end up into the grave. In this country, black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by cops than white men. But the kicker is, black men are 2.5 times less likely to be armed than those white men when they're killed. So that tells you, unarmed black men are being killed by cops more than armed white men. Now, I don't like any of those numbers, but that's the reality. And that's the world that you have to change. That's the thing that you have to change. And it ain't just about black men. Although we're by far predated upon by cops statistically higher than anybody else. But this is about everybody. This is about Asian lives. It's about trans lives. About non-binary folks, about our brothers and sisters, Somali lives, Muslim lives. All the people that are affected by police brutality, Native lives. We need to change the world going forward so we live in a world that already has justice. So that we live in a world that already has justice. So today, I'm wearing my grandfather's jacket. His name was Lauren Van Dusen, and they called him Doc because he was real good at music theory. He played the trombone, and he played in the band before they had synthesizers and fake music at the Twins games and the Vikings games. He'd be on the parade, the big Vikings parade. So I know that my grandfather, he didn't really, I don't think he expected, he was an old white man, and I don't really think he expected, a young brown kid running around his living room and teaching trombone to him, teaching trombone to me. But he did it with grace, and I loved him for it. And I know y'all had grandparents as well. And they may not have expected y'all to be here right now. And maybe they stood on the edge of a dime knowing that you would be here right now. But the whole point is that you have people that came before you to ensure that you were here right now. And maybe they may have done some things in the past that you're standing against and you want to change for the future that you're going to lead to. And they won't have to come out here. They won't have to stand in solidarity to demand that somebody they paid 6 digits to does their damn job. So I want you to just think about the folks that are watching you right now that aren't here right now. Even these folks right here that have these posters with the names on them. I believe that they're watching us. I believe that they're watching us, and I believe that the people before them are watching us as well. So I want you to just join in on the song here that we sing, and we'll kind of elevate with it, we'll go down with it, and then we'll wrap it up. And as I always say, you can be off key, but you can't be off beat, okay? Be off key, but you can't be off beat. All right, and just sing along with me. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. A little louder. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. I know you may have lost somebody. Keep on. I know. Ancestors watching. They're watching you right now. They're watching where you're standing right now and what you're standing for right now. Keep going. Come on. Ancestors. They're watching you right now, and they are with you right now. They are with us right now, wanting you to continue doing the work. A little louder. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors. Last time as loud as you can so his ancestors can hear it. Come on. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. One more time. Ancestors watching, I know they're watching. Ancestors watching, I know. All power to the people.
Racially motivated murders. So we have the family of Emma Till here today, and she's going to come up and just speak to us. But it is through our history that we and we have to acknowledge our history to even go forward. And honestly, it's too late to go forward. It's too much damage and too much hurt and too much pain that has been inflicted on our community. Until that is addressed, it is no moving forward. And that is what I try to explain to Governor Walz, and I try to explain to these legislators that you have to address the grievances and the pain and the hurt that's already been inflicted upon people before you can try to move forward. So we have here today Emmett Till's cousin, Deborah Walz. Please greet her. Thank you.
Okay. Please repeat after me. And if you believe this, hold your fist in the air. The past is not past until justice prevails. The past is not past until justice prevails. Thank you. Emmett Till was murdered in 1955. I stand here today in solidarity with the families because they didn't get justice and Emmett has not received justice either. We are still holding out for the last accomplice, Carolyn Bryant Dunham, who has not ever been charged, who lied on Emmett and caused Emmett to be lynched. He was shot in the head, beaten, lynched, with a 75-pound cotton gin fan tied around his neck with barbed wire and thrown in the Tallahatchie River in Mississippi. That wasn't a mistake. Mississippi. But this is Mississippi as far as I'm concerned, because the past is not past until justice prevails. We don't want to repeat it. We don't want 66 more years. We don't want any more families standing here holding pictures of their past loved ones. Okay? We just don't want that to happen. And so our leadership in this country, and I know Governor Walz, I know most of the leadership. I ran for Congress in 2004. Okay? And so I understand how politics work. It's not working right now. Our leadership is not working right now. Too many people are dying. How many in Minnesota? 470. And probably more. So I'm not going to take any more of your time, but I just want to say that for you standing here with these families and us, it means the world to me. And I think you should know that. Look at yourselves. Take a selfie of yourselves being here. This is history in the making. And tomorrow is going to be different, because guess what? You're going to take a step forward towards the future. I want you to take one step forward towards these families and let them know within your loudest voice that you're with them and you're going to stand with them. All you got to do is take one step forward. Take one step forward. Come on. One step. And what are you going to say? We are with you. We are going to stand with you. And as Kimberly says, we're going to put our boots on the ground, right? And we're going to march with you, and we're going to demand justice for you. Because it takes a lot. These families have held themselves together with grace and dignity. They have carried their grief in their hearts and in their voices and in their tears. So continue. If you've got faith, pray with them.
Say that, Deborah.
If you've got a voice, shout with them.
Come on.
If you've got money, support their initiative. If you've got time, give it to them. If you can stand in unity as you are today, do that for them. Thank you very much, and justice for Emmett Till. The past is not past until justice is prevailed.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Deborah. And we're going to have, where's Chef oh, she over there talking. I just love the way Chantel Allen says that, okay, so I love the way she says the style speech. I know we're supposed to do it at the end, but the spirit was just telling me to do it right now. Is it good stuff? Okay. I don't know why she thinks she can show it to these events and I ain't gonna ask her to say the song speech. But I'll be stopped her. I'll be catching up like that's what I'm here. So Chantel Allen is gonna lead us with the song speech. But we also have Muhammad from Cares, Minnesota. He's a very strong fighter with the families and also now Reeds. So you guys can just hold on a little bit longer. But the Spirit was telling me, we usually do it at the end, but the Spirit was telling me to do it right now.
Hey y'all, where's Isaiah? Y'all see Isaiah, the little Marshall dude, he running around the vest, stopping traffic and stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about? If you got your eyes on him, tell him he's needed up front. Right now. Right now. Yeah, run, brother, run. So the goal is to keep passing this down to the next generation, right? So I can't do this for the rest of my life. I got hit with tear gas almost 10 days ago and I still can't breathe. Hey, everybody give it up for Isaiah. So Isaiah is his handy's son. So his brother, he's been affected by this. His brother was murdered by the St. Paul Police Department, Cordell Handy. So say his name. Cordell Handy. Say his name. Cordell Handy. So I know y'all think, I got a little rough in me when I say it, right? I do, because I've been fighting for a long time. But I'm telling you, when you start breeding these young ones, and the ones that have been affected by this for real, in about 5 years maybe, not even 5 years, you're about to hear it right now, but in 5 years, you're going to hear them for real raw. And it's going to be a raw that the system cannot resist. That's right. They're going to hear that roar and they're going to say, you know what, we have to change things. What's he talking about, right? So I want to encourage all of y'all older folks, 35 and up, to start breeding at least 5. At least 5 to do what you do in the organizing world. Because everybody here serves a purpose in this movement. That's right. The people that are up front motivating y'all, the ones who are making phone calls, people who are organizing marshals, there's people who are making connections to other organizations. Y'all know, right? Right? Start breeding at least 5 to do what you do in the movement, even if it's just standing with a sign. Y'all with me? Yeah. All right. So Isaiah's gonna do this for me today. All right, Isaiah. And I'm gonna follow.
Repeat after me. We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
of our family, as well as Bill Reeves. And I just ask that you guys keep a little short, because I know everybody kind of shaking their pants when you're standing for a while. Okay, well, I'll leave the kids in the side.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam means peace. My name is Muhammad Ibrahim, and I'm with CARE Minnesota. And I'm going to keep it really brief. And I want to say that I saw an article come out this morning, and this is a testament when we say that the whole system is guilty. Truly, we mean the entire system. So there's if you all were following the Their Children trial, there was a doctor who the defense brought up named Dr. Fowler, who said that George Floyd did not die because of the knee, but he died because of undisclosed reasons, and that reason was undetermined. Now that doctor actually represents a lot of cases, and he's a medical examiner in Maryland. And today news came out that all the cases that that touched his fingertips were going to be reopened. And when I truly say that the whole system is guilty, I truly mean the entire system. If you all remember, with Derek Chauvin, when he killed and he murdered, and what we consider to be literally lynching, when he lynched Derek Chauvin, Derek Chauvin lynched George Floyd, the first thing that came out was, in the police report, they lied when they said that George Floyd died from an undisclosed medical reason, right? And we're talking about an incident that was filmed on camera. Now imagine for all the families that had their loved ones murdered and lynched that were not recorded, right? Imagine the lies that they would be spewing, right? And it was the people that came out and they demanded the justice. And now we're the exact same people take the streets to make sure that all of these families get the justice that they deserve, right? And I also want to include that it was the same man, Governor Walz, that was on the stage, standing, talking about a proclamation of at 12 o'clock for a moment of silence for Dante Wright's family, right? And then that was that same man that was ordering for us to get tear gas, that was throwing munitions on us. Right?
Somebody say that ain't right.
Somebody say that ain't right. That ain't right. And then now he wants to talk about, oh yeah, we're gonna fight for the families. He never fought for the families. Never fought for the families. And I also want to mention that the families have really been fighting to put together two pieces of legislation. There's a lot of legislation out there, but particularly ending the qualified immunity and specifically ending the statute of limitations so that the families don't have the time limit for them to come out here and grieve and then have to learn how to fight and then go out and fight for themselves and for their loved ones, right? And those two bills are currently got removed from the public safety omnibus, right? And now there are standalone bills. But this whole time we've been working with legislators, letting them know that these bills are really, really critical and they're really, really important for the families' fight. And now there are standalone bills where we're negotiating with Republicans who did not want to condemn white supremacy, who wanted to make sure that white supremacy was still within our police forces. And they said that there was a bill that was brought forth that said that if you are affiliated with any white supremacy groups, that your license would be revoked and you would not have the ability to become a licensed police officer in the state of Minnesota. We're not talking about the 60s, we're not talking about the 40s, we're talking about 2021. And it was a party line vote, and they said that it's unconstitutional for us to have something like that in place. Right? We're talking about Minnesota. Right? So, we have policies that the families really need that are being hand-selected and removed from the public safety omnibus and other omnibuses. Right? So then now, when we are approaching this election cycle, and specifically in 2021, we need all of you to make sure that the politicians that you're putting in office do not receive donations from police officers. Right? We have to make sure that those politicians that actually stand with the families. So before you vote, come check with the families and see who's actually been in their way of making sure that we get policies, because we do not want sympathies. We heard sorry way too many times. Right? And the last thing I want to say that a part of the problem is also these county prosecutors that refuse to bring forth charges, right? Specifically in the case of Brutality, right? The police officers that came and they killed Brutality in the middle of that gas station. Now Backstrom took that case and he retired 2 months later, right? And Backstrom is known for burying cases. We have the same thing with Pink Orchid and all of these other public detectives that did not bring charges if that was appropriate, and we demand for the Department of Justice to come out and reopen everybody's case. We need all of the cases reopened. And if we don't get that, we're going to be out here and we're going to make sure that we shut it down. Thank you so much.
I know we didn't lay it on y'all today, but we got one last person in there. Please keep it brief because we didn't went a long time. Oh, so John really wants me to talk about what happened with Mayor Carter the other day. So what had happened was Melvin Carter, we've been reaching out to him, our families, because I have a lot of families within families supporting families against police violence that lost their loved ones in the city of St. Paul, including myself. Justin Titan was murdered in St. Paul. And so I've been reaching out to him for a very long time now to try to get a meeting with him and our families, just like I do for the governor and all the rest of them. They need to sit down and meet with our families. And so, and have a conversation. Well, Mayor Carter has been one of the most insulting out of everybody. And it's so sad because for some reason he thinks his position, he's different from the rest of us and they gonna shoot his ass too. But he's been running away from us. Exactly. He's been running away from us for a long time. And so I happened to be at a meeting the other day, me and Ms. Elshia Perry. The NAACP had invited us to come eat and all this stuff. Well, here comes Melvin Carter. I was getting my purse because I was ready to go because I don't hold space with people like that. If they're not for the people, and our families have been reaching out to you, and you won't even reach out to the hurting community, and you represent a city where we lost our loved ones, I'm not about to sit here and play this same game with you. So I got to get myself and I got to go. So he was sitting there, and I had already spoke. Ms. Elshia had spoken, and someone said to him, "Oh, Mayor Carter, do you know these families?" He's like, "Yeah." He's trying to act like he's been working with us. You know, he's been doing his thing as a human being. We're not talking about titles. We talking about as a human being. Okay? So he tries to do that, and I said, I gotta get my purse. I gotta go. And Soren, a young man who was shot in the eye by the Minneapolis police while he was peacefully protesting for George Floyd, they shot his eyeball out with a rubber bullet and shattered his whole cheekbone. He happened to be there with us, and he said, "No, Tashira, don't leave. Tell him how you feel." And I said, "Right here, right now?" And he said, "Yeah, tell him how you feel." And I said, "You know what? You're goddamn right." And I set my purse down on the table, and I said to him, I said, "Mayor Carter, don't sit here in front of these people and act like you have been supportive of our families. We lost our loved ones in a city in which you represent, and you have ignored our families. You have ran from our families, and all we wanted was a simple conversation. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the truth of what this city has done to our families? We should be asking for way more than what we're asking for, and all we asked for was a conversation, and you didn't have enough humanity to give us that? I have never seen so much lack of integrity in the leadership in my life. The lack of integrity is inhumane. As a human being, I'm not talking about titles, because before I called Melvin Carter, I had a conversation with Todd Axel. And I told him, this is not about your position. Sometimes in life you have to put your position aside and think about a human being. You have to be a human being, because before you get that title, before you put that badge on, before you put that suit on, you are a human being. Before you walk into that office, you're a human being. But see, man gives us positions and then God gives us positions. And every last one of even the leadership here in the state of Minnesota refuses to do. And that's stand in integrity and stand up for human life. So pride yourself in that today. And we thank you as a hurting family from the bottom of our hearts. We thank you so much. We're going to have one last person, Mel Reeves. And Mel, please keep it short, but John just wanted me to, sorry, I didn't mean to be short. Sorry. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, and that please help us hold these elected officials accountable and be people of integrity. Thank you. Okay.
So Tashira's killing me because she done said everything needs to be said, right? And she keeps telling me to keep it short, not timely. It's been about 4 minutes, right? but she's right because y'all gonna listen to her. She tells me to keep it short. I'm gonna keep it short. And the reason they have me go last is because my job is to kind of reiterate what they've already said on some of them. So I want to send you home inspired if I can do that. I want you all to give these sisters and brothers a hand. What we have listened to is a lot of pain, y'all. We've heard a lot of pain, deep going pain and grief. These folks are hurting. And they're hurting because of a system. And Shira's right. Ultimately, our job is to be human beings, right? And we have a society that works against us being human beings. In fact, it works against us if you got any color on your skin, if you're a different sex, if you have a different persuasion, you have a different sexual orientation, if you come from someplace else, it works to try to divide us all, right? So yes, there's a trick involved here. And they use their police to reinforce all those prejudices and stereotypes, right? It's not about good cops and bad cops, brown cops and black cops, female cops and gay cops. It's about the system of policing. You clap to that. That is our problem. That's why all these systems gathered here. And the whole damn system is corrupt. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. As the brother just pointed out, from the lawyers, that's right, from the prosecutor's office, to the police, to the jailhouse, even to their hospitals. Even their medical people are corrupt. The whole corrupt system. And people look at me crazy when I say all the time that there's something wrong with this system. It's a low-down, filthy, rotten system. Of course it is. What else but a low-down, filthy, rotten system would have a police force that does what it does to our people? Right? Nothing but a low-down, dirty, rotten police force. Right? And so what you got to do, never ever forget, I'm going to mess up this quote, but never forget what a small group of people can accomplish. Right? They're the only folks who change the world. And I just messed that thing up, but y'all get it. Right? But you get my point. You look around, it doesn't seem like there's that many of us. But if you keep coming out, we'll grow. If you keep coming out, we'll grow. There'll be more of us. And you keep coming out, we'll grow. After a while, there'll be more of us that want to live in a society of human beings than those folks who don't want to act like human beings. You follow me? If you keep fighting, you know where I'm going with this one. If you keep fighting, we'll grow. If you keep fighting, you'll grow. And I want people will ask, well, when you went to the rally, what was it about? I want you to be clear what we demanded here today. This is part of a national action. Right? We want all the killer cops to wind up in cell blocks. We want killer cops to wind up where? In cell blocks. We also want, it's very important, we want all the cases to be reopened. All right? We want all the cases to be reopened. Did I say some of the cases? Did I say a few of the cases? Did I say the cases from a few years ago? Did I say a few cases? No, all the cases. We want to reopen what? All the cases. All the cases. And our other demand, there's a lot of confusion about what needs to happen. You know, we talk about defunding the police. We talk about holding police. You can't, it sounds good to try to hold the police accountable. And we're going to try to do that. But you got to always keep in mind, they're not our police. Right? So we got to change the system so we can have a police system that treats us like human beings. It's not complicated. So our third demand is that we end the system of policing as we know it. Right? That's right. End the system of policing as we know it. And so every time these sisters call you out, you got to come. Every time. Not sometimes. I know it gets cold out here. Sometimes it'll be hot. But you got to come. If they can come out here, then surely we can, right? We can support it. We keep coming and fighting for them. We will win eventually. You know we will.
right? Because you know what I like to say? If you don't fight, you got no chance to win. You got no chance in the world, right? You ain't got a chance in hell of winning if you don't fight. But if you fight, you can win. 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 If we fight, we 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 can win. All right.
Guilty as hell! Indict! Convict! Send those killer cops to jail! The whole damn system is guilty as hell! Indict! Convict! Send those killer cops to jail! The whole damn system is guilty as hell! If Cornell don't get it, shut it down! 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 If the teachers don't get it, shut it down! If the teachers don't get it, shut it down! If the teachers don't get it, shut it down! If the teachers don't get it, shut it down! If Jeffrey 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 don't get it, shut it down! If Emmy 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 don't get it, shut it down! If Nazicon don't get it, shut it down! If Naz don't get it, shut it down! If Naz don't get it, shut it down! If Justin 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 don't get it, shut it down! When black lives are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! If the lie don't get it, shut it down! If the lie don't get it, shut it down! If the lie don't get it, shut it down! If the lie don't get it, shut it down! If Travis 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 don't get it, shut it down! If Kobe 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 don't get it, shut it down! Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for having me in your hearts to let our families sit and say what we need to say. Sometimes we want to march, sometimes we want to do all these things, but sometimes we just got to get it out. We holding so much in, we holding so much on our shoulders, and we go places sometimes and we don't get a chance to just let it out. So I'm glad that you guys allowed us today. We left with not that many people that we started with, but we grateful because the people that just, we so grateful. We just so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Is there anything that any moms or anybody else want to say?
I just want to thank everybody, and remember, my bench coming up for Justice for Demetrius Hill. April 28th, we're going to be meeting at 390 East Maryland Street. We're going to start the march off down to where actually building that he got killed at. And if you don't know it, back then, 25 years ago, this building was Westminster Apartments. For some reason, they named the building Rolling Hills.
Wow. And we about to go over there and stomp on the heels. They're going to be rolling heels, all right.
We about to have some heads and asses rolling off that hill. How about that? But again, we love you all. And another thing, we can't fight and look defeated. Keep looking like winners. Because together we all win. And we have the ability to put a face on what Minnesota could really look like. But it's going to take us, the people, a collective all, to push that through. God bless you. I love you.
say no. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of the day. God bless you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Sorry there was some trouble with the stream earlier. So maybe you didn't catch the beginning of this. I had to try a few times to get the stream back up. But we're here in St. Paul, Minnesota, in front of the Minnesota Governor's Mansion. Bye. Our Minnesota Governor's residence. This is the big house that Tim Walz lives in. We had this. Hello. Nice to see you. There was a coalition of organizations out here, mostly families, so families supporting families against police violence. A bunch of families spoke that have lost people in Minnesota to police violence. A cousin of Emmett Till was also here to speak. A lot of different families spoke and shared their stories. The event was supposed to include a march, but the families just wanted some time to talk and to share their stories, so that's what happened instead, and turned out to be a nice day. So thank you for watching. There are a couple of other events happening later today that I don't think I'm going to go to, but maybe somebody else is streaming, and maybe somebody from Move for Justice News, I'm not sure. I think there's a car caravan happening right now for Adam Toledo, and then there's a vigil happening later tonight for a young woman that was recently murdered in Minneapolis. So maybe you can make it out to those or watch a live stream if somebody's streaming from those. Thanks again for tuning into this one. Have a good day.